And if you could just quickly kind of share what someone who's been watching the market, a little nervous, would like to get some skin in the game, just been thinking about it, not giving advice, but rather, from your experience, what would you share with them? What would you say to them?
Run and hide. No, I'm kidding. But no, what I would do is, number one, be very pragmatic. I'd say the best piece of advice would be to get your emotions out of the game. A lot of people, when you make decisions based on emotions, it's always going to be the wrong decision. And the reason being is that when your emotions go up, your intellect drops like a rock. And that's a bad combination for business and especially investing. So what I would say is condition the thinking system. Condition literally your neurological wiring. It's called the myelination process. Condition the neural pathways on how to analyze the situation. And then how to look and see, okay, both business-wise, how to look at it and say, okay, if I'm trying to go from A to B, so let's say if I'm trying to go, let's see here. If I'm trying to go from, there we go. And this is also how to identify good companies to invest in as well. If we're at point A and we want to get to point B, most companies only have one pathway on how to get there. And these are companies usually that have been what? Rewarded over many years. So the Sears, the Kmarts, the name brands over here in the States, where they're tried and true, like they were around longer than I've been around. But the problem is, and this is the weird part for you, especially for newer business owners, the worst thing you can have, hear me on this before you start coming after me, the worst thing you can ever have is continued success, consistent success, because you get comfortable. And a lot of these companies, they thought, we've been around for 3 generations, 30 years, 100 years, or whatever. They failed to innovate. What they need to do instead is to say, okay, even though things are going great right now, let's say pre-virus, here's our business model from A to B. You see the X's on your screen, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When I work with clients, here's some free coaching for you here, and Jason knows all this stuff, so he can walk you through it in more detail. If I say, let's take what you've done before and do it again, but you can't use any of the previous ways, they might say, okay, well, we can do this step, then this step, then this step, then this step, and you see it on your screen there. And you say, great, well, now we have options. Well, no, now it's a dilemma. Crap, do we do this or do this? You say, no, great, do it again. And what happens, you start getting more flexible. The more you look at your business and how to serve your client, and by the way, B is how your client is left feeling, not your product, not a sale of a widget. B is the experience. Some new content for you here. Is the experience of your client. How can we make sure our customers feel totally taken care of by us? So we can do this, and what happens? You can then do additional ways. Now, granted, the more ways you deviate from how you've done things before, your head is going to start to hurt. And that's a good thing. Why? Because the further you deviate in either direction here, the greater your level of innovation, your level of thinking outside of the box. This is the company that I started and I sold to E-Trade in a little under 7 months for $14 million. And it wasn't because I'm so brilliant, because trust me, I'm not. I'm just like you. I put my underwear on the same way you do. But I think differently. Clearly put my underwear on a little differently also. But you get the point, though. I.e., think outside the box. Use this, because right now, when things come up, like we're experiencing right now, there's a big blockage on most people's primary way of doing things, and they're freaking out and they're stopping. Or here's the bigger thing. They're stopping, and the states are saying, oh my gosh, government, give me a handout so I can just stay here and not do anything. And I want the money. I deserve the money. It's my tax dollars, and I get it. Sometimes you need that. Nothing wrong with that. But that's all they're doing. What you need to do is say, okay, we need to meet short-term cash flow. Our liquidity isn't where we need it to be. We need to make sure we can take care of our team because we love them like family. So let's have some people working on helping get government-sponsored loans or what have you. And we need to look at how can we innovate, not just normally, but how can we innovate, especially given this crazy environment. you're going to find ideas coming out of the woodwork from even within your own organization to say, okay, now when this is all over, we're in a much better position now. Remember that whole big tick, kind of like the diagram over here. We're in a better position now than we were before, just because when we got out of the pain. So look at and ask yourself the question, how can we use this to be better? Because then when you're starting to progress, guess what? You can be moving up, you hit the block, and you switch your strategies. You move up, oh, there's another blockage. Something happened geopolitical. Great, you move over, you keep on going. Oh, another blockage, no problem at all. Keep on going. You will get to your outcome with the more flexibility you have. Notice, if I have 5 or 10 different ways on how to get there, I'm not stressed. It may be kind of an inconvenience to have to shift certain models along the way, but if you have only one way on how to do something, you are guaranteed stress, because it's not the reality. Remember, they didn't have to shut everybody down, but when you hear the news, all the news are just events. That's it. The real news is what goes on inside your head. So if you look at whichever flavor, for Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever, cultural beliefs that people are saying or whatever they say and do is outside of them. What you say to yourself, your belief systems, that's inside of you. And that's 100% quote on you to determine, okay, everyone's freaking out. I could join the freak out party and I'll probably be freaking out just as much as they are. That's not going to add any value. It's not going to pay my mortgage or put food on my table. While they're freaking out and focusing on this, I'm going to focus over here and look at how can I add more value right now. Does that make sense? And even if it's not profitable right now, if you can serve people in their time of need, even if there's no quote direct revenue into it, trust me, they do remember. Our best year, it's funny, 2008, obviously everything dove in the tank. We kept on teaching. We lost money because we were paying thousands of dollars for venues and so on. 2009, as we were still recovering, was one of our best years because people were like, these people were here for me even when I couldn't pay, even when I couldn't do this or that. So you want to have that identity for you and your organization, but especially you as business leaders, that, hey, you know what? We're here for you during the thick and thin. We're not going anywhere. We're not going out of business. We're just going to transform the nature of our business to serve you in this new environment that we find ourselves in.